What's up, guys? How y'all doing? Yesterday, a bomb was dropped as Chance Hymas has withdrawn from Team USA for the Motocross Donations to take place overseas. However, someone has raised his hand and did something that Roger DeCoster was hoping for in 2022 for the donations. But first of all, before I get to that, guys, remember, subscribe helps the channel, helps my channel grow, helps the algorithm, and it helps me out. If you guys think I'm worth listening to, that's great. Tell all your friends, hit the subscribe button if you think that I'm worth listening to. So let's get into this. Put up my banner here. That's right. Cooper Webb on Motocross Donations on the 250F. And I say in my banner, do not count him out. And I'll tell you exactly why. Do not count out Cooper Webb. And before any of you keyboard haters out there or keyboard warriors out there rush to judgment about Cooper Webb being on the 250F for the Motocross Donations, don't rush to judgment just yet, because some of Cooper Webb's best rides in motocross were on the 250F. This guy battled with Jeremy Martin back in the 20-teens. He even won the title, I think it was in 2017, I believe. 2017, I think so. Yeah, Cooper Webb, he won 2 titles in Supercross in 2016 and in 2016 and 17 on the 250F. Or maybe it was 2015 and 16. I can't quite remember. But anyway, all I know is that Cooper Webb's a 2-time Supercross champ. He won a motocross title. He's got 3 titles total on the 250F. So don't count him out. And some of his best rides, and although he has not really been putting in a lot of wins in motocross anyway on the 450, he's been there, especially on KTM when he looked really good on that KTM 450. And he was on there for a few years. Then they parted ways. Now he's back on Star Yamaha. So Cooper Webb can definitely deliver. Now, for those of you who are wondering, back in 2022, how many guys remember that Roger DeCoster wanted one of the guys on in the 450 class to ride a 250F at the Donations until Justin Cooper raised his hand to ride the 250F? I definitely remember that. So anyway, for Cooper Webb to raise his hand and ride a 250F again for the first time in almost 10 years, I applaud Cooper Webb for doing that. And you know what? We still got a chance to win and bring home the bacon like we did in 2022. But right now, I don't know if Aaron Plessinger might withdraw because of his shoulder injury. But then again, that also goes back to why I think that that super duper should take place in the fall, because just like with the Monster Energy Cup and even the US Open, it was around mid-October, and that's about the exact time that I would have the Super Duper Series take place, just like with the US Open and the Monster Energy Cup, because it was after the donations. Everybody had time to recover, and everybody had time to recover after pro motocross, because these kinds of races can take a toll on you. And this probably explains why a lot of people are not very happy with Super Duper being scheduled almost 2 weeks after motocross concludes, because for pro motocross, you've raced 17 rounds of Supercross and 11 rounds of pro motocross in like 36 weeks. So that's really not a lot, or 36, 32, or somewhere in the 30s anyway. That's not a lot of time off, because you get 2 breaks during Supercross. You get 3 breaks during motocross. So that's probably about 33 weeks of racing almost consecutively. And these guys need time to recover. But because back in the old day, the only off-season race, unless they chose to, unless you race other rounds like Bercy or even some other races overseas and the motocross nations, if you were to take part. And of course, the U.S. Open. There aren't a lot of races in the fall. So, and now with World Supercross possibly going on again during the fall, that's not a lot of time unless you got Supercross only, like how Ken Roczen does. That's not a lot of time for your body to recover. And that's probably why a lot of the guys don't like the Super Duper taking place at its designated time. Now, while I think the Super Duper series is great, where it's being scheduled, I agree with them because you have to have time to recover. Okay? That's why I think that the Super Duper series has to take place around mid-October. That way, then, everybody's had time to recover. And those who race the Motocross Nations, maybe about a week after that, maybe about 2 weeks after that might be okay. But still, where it's being scheduled right now is not very favorable. So if you're going to keep the Super Duper series in, then great. But I still think that it at least should be scheduled in the fall, at least around mid-October, maybe even maybe with the final round taking place around Halloween weekend, okay? But anyway, as far as Cooper Webb is concerned with this, do not count him out because some of these guys' best rides were on the 250F. Look at Justin Barcia. We all know how good he did in Supercross when he won 2 titles back-to-back in Supercross. He did pretty well on the 250 in motocross. And David Villeman has even said that with Barcia on the 450, he would take the clutch off and just let Barcia ride the 450 without a clutch or something like that. So, so Jason Anderson, he had some good rides on the 250 when he won the West title in 2014. And some of these guys, like I said, their best rides were on the 250. Ken Roczen won the title in the West in 2013, and he rode the 250F at Ironman, and he actually did all right. It wasn't outstanding, but it wasn't necessarily terrible. So for Cooper Webb on the 250, give him a chance. Don't be rushed into judgment because Cooper Webb can still deliver. We can still bring home the bacon. Chase Sexton doesn't cheat you on effort. Aaron Plessinger doesn't cheat you on effort. And Chance Hymas, had he not withdrawn, would not have cheated you on effort either. You put RJ Hampshire, he won't on the 250. He won't for the donations. He won't cheat you on effort. But of course, he did get hurt at Texas. That's the only outlier. Aside from that, Hampshire doesn't cheat you on effort, especially on the 250. And if how he did on the 450 at Daytona is any indication, if you put him on the 450, I wouldn't mind it. I think he'll do well. So, as far as other guys go, would Justin Cooper want to ride a 250F? Probably not, but it wouldn't have been a bad choice. I mean, look at how he did in the 22 Donations. He did really, really well, and we came home with the goods. Eli Tomac, Chase Sexton was also on the team then. So, I don't know. I think that I do believe that Cooper Webb will deliver on the 250F. Just give him a chance. And, you know, this kind of reminds me of Ricky Carmichael riding a 125 at Steel City in 2001. I mean, some of us had an idea that he was going to do it. I was one of those people who kind of thought he would do it because knowing RC, it's in his repertoire that he was going to wrap up the title early, which he did, and he was going to ride a 125 at Steel City and go for the record of 26 125 wins. And of course, he's Ricky Carmichael. Of course he's going to do it. Okay? And of course, think this. With Cooper Webb on the 250F for the donations, thinking like, okay, it's Cooper Webb. Of course he's going to deliver. Okay? That's the way I'm looking at it right now. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. And remember, subscribe. We'll see you all for the final round in Vegas for Super Duper. And also for the donations. I might do a recap of that as well.